Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Bass and Bill 96. Today we're going to be doing the mystery tackle box slam, which I haven't actually ever completed one of these, so this should be interesting. The baits that we have in the box today, we have the Patriot Monster Bass Spook, which that retails for $11.99. Next up we have the Smart Bomb Smart Baits. They're just some Senko type baits. After that we have the Casting Weedless Football Head Jig, which has got a little bit of a different kind of brush guard. It's not your standard brush guard, it's kind of just a wire. It's supposed to make it more weedless. We're going to see how that works. We should be able to catch some fish on that as well. Next up after that we have the Big Bite Baits, Creature Baits, which I've actually used those before. And then last but not least, we have the Standout Drop Shot Hook. I think I'm going to pair those up with the Senko, get a kind of 2-for-1 on that one. And then we also have the Boo Flex Rig, which this basically to me is just, it's kind of just like a steel leader. I'm just going to put like a crankbait or something on here. It's supposed to make you cast a little bit farther, and then it's also weighted right there in that head, so you're able to fish your lures at a deeper depth. I've never used one of these. It sounds interesting. I don't know if it's going to help in any way, shape, or form, but we're going to catch a fish on this as well. We're going to get out on the water right now, and we're going to do this slam. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so first things first, before I even take the boat out, I just saw a bass in a bed right off the dock here. I'm going to hook up the Standout Drop Shot hooks and these Senkos, and I'm going to catch that fish. Hopefully, if all goes according to plan. So I'm going to show you guys how I rig up these Standout Drop Shot hooks. If you've never seen one, this looks a little funky, but this thing is a game changer, I promise you. So you don't tie the line through there. What you're going to want to do is you tie the line through this one section with the open end right there. And I'm just going to tie a standard Palomar knot, because you're going to need that tag end. So you got your regular Palomar knot, cinch that thing up, and then you got your tag end like usual on your Palomar knot. Now usually this is just kind of how the hook would be, and as you can see, it would just kind of flop around like crazy, but this extra little closed section that looks like a regular line tie, what you're going to want to do is you're going to put your tag end through there, and now your hook stands perfectly straight no matter what. So I'm just going to wacky rig this. We might have to cut that down a little bit, because when I'm bed fishing with this thing, you don't always want that full-size Senko, but for now we'll just leave it as is. We're gonna go out in the boat, but for now we're just gonna try to catch this bed fish right here. Oh, she mouthed it. She nipped at the edge. She did not get the hook. Oh, and that's how you lose a fish. I didn't even think that she had the hook in her mouth. She's been nipping at the end of it the entire time, and then she finally got the entire thing. I'll still see if I can catch her, because we got to do this challenge. This is 2 baits in 1, and I already got the camera set up underwater, so we might as well just go for it. Alright guys, another tip. If you hook a fish on a bed and then it pops off, try throwing a different bait in there. So I've been throwing the drop shot in there. She was interested at first, then she kind of lost interest again. And since she's already had that bait in her mouth like 10 different times and she was hooked once, I'm going to try throwing this little Big Bite Baits, Creature Bait, another bait from the mystery tackle box. See if we can get this bed fish to commit to this instead. Yeah, of course, right when I finally catch this fish, that camera stops recording. I'm pretty sure that I got the footage on the GoPro underwater though, but this is the first, I don't think I'm even in frame here. This is the first fish of the MTB Slam Challenge. I normally would not work a bed fish for this long. I think it took me like 30 minutes to catch this fish. I had her on once, missed her, and then she came back for it. But yeah, usually wouldn't work a fish this long, but I already had the camera set up and I don't want to get in the water a bunch of times. Probably like a nice 9-incher, freaking giant. I'm gonna get her back on her bed though. All right, so now we're gonna go in the boat and we're gonna finish this challenge off. We got a lot of baits to go. We got one knocked out. Let's go. Okay, so now some clouds rolled in. Luckily, because I thought I was gonna have some trouble with this topwater, but we should have perfect conditions now. So I'm gonna try to knock this out before the sun comes back. Not even a single blow up on the spook. I cannot believe it. Yesterday I was crushing them on a spook. Perfect conditions. All right, so I'm just gonna try to knock out this drop shot. There we go. Drop shot, hook, and the Senko. Knocked them both out at the same time. Just cast it right next to that dock. If I could land it at least. Seem to be losing about every fish today. Yeah, as I get it caught in the oar. There we go. Not a big fish. Not a big fish by far, but we have 3 baits of the 6 knocked out now with a nice little 12-incher there. So we're gonna let this fish go. And now we're gonna work on the spook and catching a big bass. Got one on the spook, finally. Literally took so long. This thing better not pop off. Oh, it's a decent one too. Biggest one yet, at least. There we go. There we go, on the spook. This one might be an MTB keeper. They gotta be 14 inches. She's gonna be kind of close. Because right now, Mr. Tackle Box is actually running a little contest where there's a ruler built in the box. I'll show you guys, hold up. I'm just freaking glad I finally got this spook out of the way, but that's probably a 14-incher. So yeah, you got your Mr. Tackle Box, and what they have going on right now is a contest where first you got to catch the fish, then you measure the fish on the ruler, and you take a picture of it. And you got to catch it on one of the baits in the box, obviously, but this fish right here is 14 and a half, 14 and a quarter. So I'm gonna get you a picture of this fish really quick and then let her go. All right, guys, so 14 and a quarter incher, biggest one so far, but still obviously not a giant by any means. But I'm glad to get the spook out of the way. Now we're gonna move on to, let's see. Now we're gonna move on to the Zorro jig. So I'm gonna get a trailer on this thing and we're gonna catch a fish. All right, guys, so we got the jig hooked up here. I got a Berkeley Chigger Craw trailer, black and blue. This thing looks pretty good. This is kind of like a living rubber skirt. And then also, this is the different kind of brush guard I was talking about. It's made out of like some kind of wire. Not sure how that's gonna affect the bite or anything, but we're gonna catch some fish on this thing. I can feel it. We got some decent jig conditions. I mean, they're kind of all up shallow. I might even try swimming this thing around, to be honest. Either I'm gonna go by the docks and start tossing this thing, or I'm gonna swim this through the pads. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, there we go, on the jig. Right next to that buoy. That's another okay one. Not a giant, but not a freaking dink, that's for sure. Phew. That's another one probably right at like 14 inches. A little bit smaller than that spook fish probably, but nice fish on that Zorro jig. We only have one more bait left, and then I'm just gonna kind of cycle through, probably fish a little bit more. I think the jig is gonna be one of the best ones. That drop shot, I could catch fish nonstop, so gonna catch fish in the last bait, and then we're gonna just keep going, see how many fish we can catch on this mystery tackle box. All these baits that we got. But this last one is the one I was worried most about because I don't really know what it is. Which, I mean, that's kind of what Mystery Tackle Box is all about, getting new baits. Because I would never pick this up in a store, which, I mean, some people might think, oh, that's a bad thing, like you're getting baits you don't even want, but maybe this is the best bait I've ever used in my life. I really couldn't tell you. But I get to try it for the low price of $15. You guys can sign up and you get all these baits. Usually they're worth like at least like $25, $30. You could get the Pro Box too, which is even more baits than this. But so basically what this is, from what I can tell, it's just basically a steel eater. It's nice because you got the clamp. You could switch lures really fast. This is really flexible though, so I don't think it's going to really take away from much of the action. And then this is a tiny little weight. This is a 1/4 ounce weight in the head, which is supposed to help you get farther casting distance, and it's supposed to like keep your bait a little bit deeper, obviously, as well. So we're going to see if that's the difference maker. I don't know. I'm going to put a crankbait or something on there, I guess. I'm not even sure. So I think I'm going to put this chatterbait on there. Just because I feel like in a lot of this shallow grass, these kind of post-spawn fish, a lot of these fish are post-spawn now from what I can tell. They'll just be cruising around looking for an easy meal. All right, so we got this tied on. Now all we're going to do is just clamp the chatterbait right on. All right. So hopefully we can knock this challenge out here pretty quick. It does definitely make your lure cast farther. Do not know if it's going to affect whether or not a fish wants to bite it at all. It feels really weird when I'm reeling it in. I'm assuming it's that weight that's trying to like nosedive it a little bit deeper, but hopefully the fish do not care. We might need to switch this chatterbait out for something else. They don't seem too interested. I'm gonna try out this swim jig instead. See if we can complete this challenge now. So I have no idea how this is gonna look with this extra booyah weight thing on there. But they were not liking the chatterbait too much. Alright guys, I didn't really shoot an outro, and that's because I was actually kind of irritated because I could not catch a fish on this booyah thing. I couldn't catch a fish on this thing to save my life. And so I just kind of left the lake, and I was just kind of pissed off. But it's not because this thing's a bad bait. It's more because usually, you know, you get your Mr. Tackle box and you're going to use the baits in there when it's ideal to use them. I was trying to use all the baits at once, and this thing's more of a summer rig. I mean, I was thinking about this thing, and like I got a chance to use it, so I kind of know what it's for now. And this thing would be perfect for like summer ledge fishing. When you're trying to deep crank, this thing gets your crankbait down another couple feet easily. So if you say the deepest crankbait you got with you is DT16, and you notice the fish in your graph are in 20 feet of water, you take your DT16, you put it on this thing, and you're going to get right in that strike zone. So today I was fishing super shallow, and this thing was just that's not what this thing's made for. So I caught a fish on like 5 of the baits or whatever it was. It was a really cool challenge. It's the first time I ever got underwater footage of a fish eating. So I've been meaning to do that for literally years. I only have one GoPro, so as you saw, this camera died actually when I had the GoPro underwater. And actually the GoPro, like I said, when I was in the water, I didn't know if it actually got it on camera because the GoPro died 6 seconds after that fish ate it. So luckily, I got that on camera. Alright guys, other than that, if you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, because I'm going to be making a ton of more videos this summer, especially these challenge videos like this. They're my favorite to make. It seems to be your guys' favorite to watch. I mean, I think I'm going to be doing a catch and cook video on Sunday, and then I have like 5 tournaments within like the next week period, basically, between this weekend and next weekend. I have like 5 tournaments coming up, so tons of tournament footage for you guys that are tournament bass anglers or you're interested in tournament bass fishing. So that should be awesome. And then last but not least, guys, if you're not subscribed to Mr. Tackle Box and you want to check them out, it's 15 bucks a month. Your first box is $5. And then on top of that, they're doing that promotion right now where if you catch a fish and you put it on the little ruler that they provide, it just folds out of the top of the box, and you go onto Instagram, put hashtag MTB Keeper, you're entered into the contest automatically. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned, and catch you guys next time. So hopefully that shot was worth it, because I just have to get in the water to even get this GoPro on the bed like that. And wow, and the GoPro's off, so there's about a 50% chance I didn't even get that on camera.